All right. Well, hello and welcome to another daily edition of Stock Market Mutterings Trade Review and Recap for the 14th of November. Hope everybody is doing well. As always, if you need help with your trading, take a moment, visit thelinkonlist.com, click on the Trade Room tab, and you can start trading with us right away. Now, I'm going to do something different today. We are going to talk about reversal trading. Some key points in making reversal trading work for you. Now, we've been talking about this a lot lately because we've been doing a lot of reversal trades. Those that have followed me for years, you know this is a big piece of my trading business, and we've talked a little bit about range here. We talked about speed, and a lot of you have been asking me questions to go a little bit more in depth in this topic, and today we had two great examples, two really nice trades on LULU and Netflix. And they both had that textbook set up, and I kind of want to share a few of those things with you so you can add it to your toolkit, and maybe it'll help you make a little bit of money. If not, you'll at least be able to understand more about, emotions, inflection points, and how technical analysis works. Now, one of the keys for this is for us in the room, we love to trade the same stocks over and over again. I know you guys hear it say it all the time: BABA, Baidu, Tesla, Netflix, NVDA, Apple, and the rest of them. I love trading the same stocks, and it really helps traders to do that. You should have a series of 10 stocks or something that you always have on your watch list. Because remember, a stock is a reflection of the emotions, because people trade stocks. Therefore, there's emotion inside of that stock, and each stock behaves a certain way. If you don't believe me or you don't understand, just go to any stock message board and type in Tesla. Just do it. Go to StockTwits, go to Twitter, and just hashtag Tesla. You will find the most extreme perma bulls and perma bears in that stock. It's the epic of all emotion, and it has behavior. And you can make money by understanding the behavior of how stocks operate, specific stocks. So for you new guys out there, you don't have to run a bunch of scanners every day trying to find the next hot stocks. You have everything that you need for in some of these beta names. Just keep them on your list, learn how they operate, and then learn how to trade around it. So let's get back to business. First of all, it's LULU. We trade LULU all the time. I know how LULU works and how LULU moves, so I'm familiar with this stock. I can't go into detail about every single nuance of this strategy, but there are a few things I do want to talk about. And one thing that I've highlighted before is the word range. To me, range is what is the normal daily movement on that stock minus earnings. Okay, if a stock is coming out of earnings, or there's a certain PR on a biotech or something, that doesn't count. Kick that to the side, because to me, when you get to a point like that where it's heavily news driven, technical analysis often doesn't apply. But on a regular day like today, where you're just ripping out of nowhere, you got some bounces early in the morning, and you see certain stocks that, like Win the other day being up $6, or BABA going up $10, for basically no reason, you got to pay attention to those types of moves. So what we had here today was LULU moving early, and I think at this point it was at a +4. It was like 138 to 143, so pretty almost a $5 move. Now, first of all, that's a lot for LULU. You go back in this daily chart, and outside of this earnings gap up, you're going to find it very hard. You got one panic day here, but I think you follow what I'm saying. Is you're going to find it very hard to find a day where it just goes all day for $5 or $6 and just hangs up there. You see you got some movement back and forth in each one of these candles. So already you're 20-30 minutes into the session of trading, and you are up towards max range. So think about this. New buyers that are coming in there, you have only established 30 to 40 minutes of trade data, and the stock is already topping out on its average daily range. And you're going to walk in there and buy that with the anticipation that this whatever trajectory that it's on is going to continue for the remainder of the day. Now, when you look at it that way, it's obviously sounds like there's just possibly no way. So I want to explain to what we were looking for. One of the other things, not only is range, is how markets and stocks themselves gravitate towards whole numbers. So first you have range, and the second thing you have are these whole numbers. So if you look at this thing, the first, it just kind of runs up here to 143, then it stops, and then eventually it goes up to 144 and then stops. For some reason, maybe it's because people love to put stops there and so on, they love to migrate around these whole numbers. So the first thing that we look to is just to kind of start a starter position first thing in the morning. Now, the reason for doing starter positions is because as these are green and this thing's still clicking upwards, you're looking around the chart and you're looking at previous resistances such as 144.5, which was from a couple days ago, and then maybe 146s that go back from later October. So you're looking at these upper levels and you're still thinking, even though it's up a lot, there's still an outside chance that this stock will trade up to that next level. I mean, if it really gets frisky and the market really starts ripping, we have to prepare for that. So we always use those starter positions to give ourselves the flexibility, because the last thing that we want to do is try to pick the perfect bottom and then pick the perfect top. So we kind of go into this thing up here and it pulls back just a little bit. You'll see it. And it gets real stingy. Now, trading a lot of these reversal trades, there's one thing that I do know, and that's especially in the morning, if it digests its gains and you cannot get a thick pullback, something that's deep that goes down into some of the moving averages, which is not on this chart, but anything that can pull back deeply, then what it does is it bases, it normally makes a secondary run, especially in the morning, because again, you're trading with a lot of, there's other traders trading with a lot of emotion. Hopefully you're not trading with emotions, but it doesn't work this time. We're up here, we got a short position, and it just keeps bouncing around like this. So the best thing to do is say, look, the market's still being stingy, the market's still being strong. Look, let's get out of this thing right now. And we kind of scratch on the trade. I took like maybe a 20-cent loss on there. But the point of that is, on the first trade, is you picked an area where you thought this thing is probably going to slow down, if nothing else, and it got pretty close to where that top was. And we use a combination of the RSI as well down below. So you got a few things that we're kind of pointing to. This was probably a pretty good idea, and it was. It didn't work out, but the setup was there, and that's somehow how it works. What I really want to focus on is part 2 of this trade, because this is where this thing really came to life. And sometimes this is how you're trading. Remember we talked about that with Tesla a few weeks ago. It doesn't always work out the first time or the second time. Sometimes you have to work your trade a little bit. You got to go back into it. You get faked out, you get shaken out, or the setup turns better for you later. It's just the way trading is. I want you to look at this piece right here. This is what this chart is kind of looking like in, let me see if I can, no, I can't back that up. It's kind of just ripping up here. You'll see this. It starts launching out of this base, goes 142 and 144. Now, one point, this whole thing was filled in with green. So you're looking at this thing breaking out, taking out the highs, and just exploding. Now, as soon as it makes this move, there's something that I said yesterday that I can't show you in real time, and that is speed. Speed is such an important element when it comes to trading reversals, because what speed represents is emotion itself. There's a thing that you got, we call this as a blow-off top or a blow-off bottom. And what this is when you got something going through high of day like this 143.20s or whatever this price is right here. You can see it's like a nice little, let me just draw a line up here for everyone. You got this like little double top right there. As soon as it breaks through there, a lot of times what this happens is, number one, it's a handful of people chasing the stock at high a day because they're breakout trading. Lots of traders love breakout trades, and they're buying it. Shorts, where would a short stop out normally if they're short this? They're going to stop out at high a day. So when you combine these buyers, the emotion of these buyers and the emotion of these, short sellers who are stopping out at high a day, you combine them all at the same price, and what do you get? You get explosion. You get this move, and it literally shoots up from the lower 143 straight up to 144. Now, what signifies that is the moment that it goes up here, it does not even stick that 144 for longer than a minute or so, and it starts to come down real quick. I hope you can see that. If not, expand what it looks like here on your charts. See if we can, there it is. You can see, look at the size of that, and it just comes drawing back down. As soon as it draws back down, that tells me that was the speed up move. That was the blow off top move. This is our high right here. And this time around, we doubled up pretty heavy on this trade and went right into it. And from that moment, that was it. I mean, that was it for the rest of the day. And normally when you see a stock that does that, that's the high print. Very few of them will come back up because the element there is not just range. It's not just the whole number. It is actually the speed of that move. So when you guys are looking at these tomorrow, remember, it didn't have speed here in the morning. These were just sort of like a melt up grind, just like a tick, a slow upward move. Now, caution to each and every one of you. If you're doing reversal trades, if you get anything that's melting up or melting down, it's hella hard to reverse that, because that's a really significant trend, right? That's a trend. This is not a trend. This is an emotional event inside of the chart. Hope that you can just, you need to distinguish the two, but I hope you understand what I'm talking about. So this second move was just everybody's, I'm chasing it. Lulu's going to go up $10 today. And it was a trap. They all got trapped. And we scored real nice on this trade. Obviously, I could have held a little bit longer, but in this kind of market, to be honest with you, you just never know. And I was really happy with what we had there. So again, look at those going into tomorrow and how that works with the speed. Now, I want to show you another one, because this is what you saw in Netflix, which almost worked the same way. It was just in reverse, because in Netflix, I can't even see it on the screen. In Netflix's case, it was going the other way. We're going downward, okay? Now, I just said, be careful about, a trend is something that's just a nice gradient, a grade down or a grade up or a grade down. Anything that goes parabolic or, flushes down like that, again, that's signifying a motion. That's not signifying a trend. That's why I don't like to use the word counter trend. So when you're looking at this in the morning, that's what you're seeing here. This is just continued selling. And if you look at the chart, there's something that it's missing. There is no panic yet. Yes, it's selling off consistently. Yes, it's dropping, but there isn't any panic flush where everybody just says, oh, we're out, right? And that's what's really, really hard, is people just think because it's down, I'm going to buy it, but it still hadn't panicked. So it's like, unless it panics, it could still go lower. And you can see it just kind of haggles, makes a bounce here, sells back off, and then it's just basing. Now, here's what I want you to look at. At all this time, people are trying to decide, where is that bottom? And if you look here, you've got the same thing you had with Lulu. It's just trending, it's holding, it's trending, it's holding, and you got this consolidation. And I tweeted about it this time. I said, I think this thing wants to break out of this range. If it comes up to 285s, 285s and a half, I think we're good. And then all of a sudden, look what it does. Rather than break out, it takes out the low. Right there, you can see you had like a little triple bottom and it broke. But again, look here at the size of the candle. Let me move it over for everyone. Look at the size of this candle right here, okay? Just like you saw with Lulu where the candle was up, this one's down. Now, when you look back here, you do not have a flush out candle anywhere in this chart. These are just, they're nice size, but they're not flushing. So what happens as soon as it bases, break that, look at the size of it. Instantly, this thing goes 283 to 278. I mean, it is an incredible flush. So it's the same thing in reverse as you had with Lulu. So where Lulu, it was shorts being stopped out at high and chasers chasing it at high. This was the same thing. Instead, you have shorts shorting it at low of day, and then you have all the longs saying, oh, hell, I'm out. Those people combine at the same price, and down it goes. Here's what the same thing happens again in reverse with Lulu. As soon as everyone is shaken out of their position, what happens? It comes firing away, and it comes all the way from 279 back to 280, almost 290. So look at the hell of a reversal on that stock. What signifies it on both of those is the panic. Remember the size of that bar, the speed of that bar, and if you have playback like you do with Thinkorswim, play this back in real time. Well, it wouldn't be real time, but just play it back and see how this thing looks as it's really moving, like in a real time environment. That's the key there. And on this one, you had range. You were down $10, $15. That was a lot for this stock on a day like today. You had a long trend going in one direction. You just needed to get everyone out. This is where a lot of traders make the mistakes, because we can't go into it here on this for the sake of time, but when we talked about whole numbers, there's areas that you have stops. You need to know, this is where people give up. I mean, imagine how many longs stopped out there and then turn around, 30 minutes later and are looking at this thing at 290 going, damn, that makes you feel stupid, doesn't it? So in a quick recap here, because they were both the same kind of trade, you can use it as a long trade, you can use it as a short trade. The misconception with this is you're either longing, you're reversing a trade because it's up too much, because it's just up too much in terms of price. Okay, that's one element, and that's an important factor, but that's not the only element. That's not a justification, because these things can go a lot higher. Same way they can sell off a lot more than you think possible, right? It does that from sometimes. What you're looking for, number one, is that range. That price gets it onto your alert system. The second thing that you look for is the speed in that move. The speed in that move. That will tell you when you have that flush bar, either a parabolic up or a para down. That will give you the confidence to know, okay, this is going to be the bottom. And if you can combine that with other things, again, this is a much deeper topic. If you can combine that with support and resistance, with the RSI, it'll just put a couple of small things in there that'll give you the data that you need to help you make these decisions and be confident in the decision. Because again, you're stepping into this while everyone else is just giving up. While the world looks like it's falling apart and everybody's sitting there saying, oh man, this is it, this thing's going to go to hell and back, you're stepping in there at the 279s, the 280s, and then everyone else is chasing it back at 290. Let them chase back and buy it back from you at a higher price. That's the goal. So I hope this kind of made some sense to you, to just strip it down here. Remember, range is number one. Look at the daily range in these stocks. And anything that goes up outside of daily range, as long as it's not an earnings day, then you have a reason to start looking at reversing that. And the next thing you need to look after that is support resistance lines, depending on what direction you're going. Look to where this thing might trade again. What's that next level of support? Where's that next level of resistance? Where will the buyers be? Where will the sellers be? Where will this thing base out or hold? And then look for that final thrust move, that blow off top, the blow off bottom, whatever that big candle that signifies everybody stop thinking realistically and logically and just started trading with emotion. And almost every single time you see that emotional trade, it's a trap. It gets reversed, and you start seeing these monstrous reversals, and most traders don't know what the hell happened. Before they can figure out what happened, they're already down several thousands of dollars. So anyway, I'm going to cut it there because I've been talking for a long time. This is one of the highlight strategies that we use. If you want to learn something like that, LincolnList.com. Click on the Trade Room tab. I say it every day. But you have to know what you're doing, because something like this, what if it keeps going down? You need to know what to do then. So as always, guys, if you need help, take a moment, visit the LincolnList.com. It was a green day. It was a nice day. We got a lot of stuff here to trade tomorrow. I think you've got a wild market here, and you need to be on the right side of these reversal areas. And you got some good premium laying in front of you. As always, thanks for watching the video. Take care. I'll chat with everyone tomorrow.